Good morning, afternoon, or evening, dear yogis here at Our Echo Yoga. Thank you for being here for yourselves and for doing something kind for your bodies and your minds today. So this practice will be a full body practice. So getting into the physiology of the whole body, lengthening, creating some spaciousness, and also working on strengthening like the lower back and creating some more space in the lower lumbar as well. If you're having any back pain or if you're having any issues in the beltline and the piriformis, we'll get into the sides here as well. So that being said, let's go ahead and start in a seated position. So it's nice to always begin our practice with stillness and the silent witness, to close the eyes, to come into breath awareness, and letting go of what came before, what is to come after. And we're lucky to have our yoga practices in order to have these moments, but we can take these mindful moments before we eat our meals, before we drink our coffee or our juice, before we get into our car, taking just 1 or 2 minutes a day to just sit in that silent witness. Notice what's alive. Letting go of movement, letting go of doing, and simply sitting. So begin to relax the muscles in the face, shoulders, the belly, the hips. And then stick an inhale, lengthen the arms up. And then exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, hands to heart. And this time, inhale, lengthen up. Can open the eyes and bring the right hand down to the right side, left arm stretching up and over. Get nice and long through the left side of the body. Can look up towards the left and really press through the right palm, pushing the left hip down, left pinky finger reaching up towards the ceiling. And come back up through center. Bring the left hand down, right arm stretching up and over, right hip presses down. Look up towards the right. Let's come back up through center. Inhale. Bring the hands behind the head, clasp the fingers, open the heart space, and don't go into too deep of a back bend to start out, especially since we're working with creating some space in the lower back. But open the heart space a bit, look up and really support the head. So we're creating space across the arm lines into the pericardium meridian, creating more spaciousness for breath in the lungs. Let's take an inhale. And exhale, round in elbows in, chin to chest. Inhale, open the heart space, open the arms, look up. And exhale, round in. Let this be soft. Sometimes I see students snapping themselves open and close like a hanger. So inhale, softly open. And exhale, softly close in. So if you think of a hanger, if you snap it back and forth too quickly, sometimes it will break at some point. So do this very slowly. Inhale, open. And exhale, round in on yourself. Twice more. Inhale. Opening through the front line and exhaling, creating spaciousness in the back line. Come back to center, inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands down to the knees. So we're going to lengthen. I'll turn to the side, legs forward into Paschimottanasana. So if you have a couch cushion or blocks or a bolster, feel free to pause the video, take whatever you need. to do so, but we're going to take a forward fold, but we want to keep the spine straight. So inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, slowly fold forward. So for some of us, that might mean staying quite upright. We're not going to go too far. For some of you, you can go a little bit deeper, but the moment you begin to round the spine, lift the chest, lengthen the spine, and stay here. So this is helpful when we have a bolster. We can kind of create a unicorn horn. The bolster can come between the feet and we can rest our foreheads. We spend some time here. It's nice to have props. And again, we're creating some spaciousness in the back line, especially if we've got hip pain, lower back, piriformis. We want to go really easily. Sometimes we push ourselves to really open the back when we have pain, and this can create more exasperation in the target area. So let's come back up, inhale. Bend the right knee, place the right foot by the left knee. And then bring it to the outside of the left knee. You're going to hug the right knee in with the left elbow crease. Turn to the right hand behind you. If you want to go deeper, left elbow to the outside of the right knee, twisting deeper. So you can stay on the back hand or fingertips. So any twists are going to be helpful for lower lumbar issues, but again, gently, not twisting past your edge. And we want to create spaciousness in the sides of the waistline as well. So it's not always about going towards the specific target area. It's about the areas surrounding, creating more spaciousness. Let's come forward and bring the right foot to the outside or the inside of the left thigh. Lengthen through the spine and slowly fold over the left leg. So Janu Shirsasana. Dorsiflex the toes of the left foot so that we're protecting the left knee from overextension. Keep the spine long. Let's take an inhale, peel the chest up, right hand behind the right hip, press the hips up and forward, reach the left arms back, or left arm back. You only have one, I think. So let's open the chest, and maybe the left hand wants to go behind the head to create some space here for the neck. Open the heart even more towards the ceiling. So we want to get into the abductors and adductors of the groin and the hips here. Really press through the right palm. Take an inhale. And exhale. Let's bring the hips down. Very good. Stretch the right foot forward. Bend the left knee. Place the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Hug the left knee in with the right elbow. Or bring the right elbow outside the left knee. Your choice. Mini bus stops, lengthen through the spine, turn back. And for anyone that has really severe lower lumbar pain or piriformis pain, please, please, please go gently. Do less. So we do not want to make the pain even more intense. Be kind. Let's come forward. Bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, Janu Shirsasana, so make sure the hips are square, and slowly fold over the right shin. So you might not go as deep as me, you might stay on the palms, keep the spine straight, or use a bolster or a couch cushion to bring the earth closer to you. So props are our friends in yoga. You do not need to look like Patabi Joy or any of these other yogis that have their nose all the way down to the ground. The goal is for you to feel good in the uniqueness of your body. Let's take an inhale, come up, left hand behind the left hip, press the hips forward and up, reach the right arm back, nice and long through the front line. If you want the support for the head, bring the right hand behind the head, open the heart even more towards the ceiling, and feel that stretch in the groin. Strong in the left shoulder as you press down through the left palm. So many chains of reaction working here together as a system. Breathing in and out of the nostrils. Take an inhale. And exhale, slowly lower the hips down. Very good. So we're going to come into Baddha Konasana, feet together. Knees are gonna go wide. So you can decide if you want the feet further away from you or closer towards the groin. So depending on where you want to open, so you can practice and play with that. But take a hold of the big toes and begin to butterfly the knees. And again, be gentle. We don't want to be flying with the knees, but very gentle. And we get to work into the hips a bit, into the abductors and adductors. You can close the eyes, come into breath. Sit up tall through the spine. And slowly come to stillness. Keep a hold of the big toes, open the heart space, and slowly begin to fold forward. So we might not go very far. Hands can come to the ground, and we're just opening into the groin. So we're doing oppositions here. If we're working with the lower back to create spaciousness, we're working through the front line here to also create space. So doing those counter poses, get a little bit lower. And slowly, slowly come back up. Let's come onto hands and knees. As you come into hands and knees, tuck the toes under, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Can pedal it out if that feels good for you. For some, it might feel good to just stay in stillness. Get nice and long through the back line. And something that feels quite nice here to explore and to play with. I'm going to bend the knees a bit and lean the hips over towards the right, but keep the hands planted. So get nice and long through the left side body and take some pulses here. Just letting the knees bounce a little bit. Get nice and long through the left side. Come back through center and move towards the left side. Little pulses. And back through center. Slowly walk the feet forwards, meet the hands, take your time. And take the feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, come up halfway, lift the toes and bring the hands, slide the hands underneath the feet. Standing on your palms, fold in. So for some, you might need to bend the knees quite generously. For some, you might be able to stay nice and long. Let the head hang. Gorilla pose. And very slowly lift the head, release the hands. Take the feet about as wide as your mat and sink the hips down. Coming into a yogi squat. So yogi squat, for some of us, it might be really challenging to get the hips down. So you might need to stay on the tiptoes. You might need to put a block underneath the seat or a couch cushion. And for some, it might feel better to have the hands on the ground for support. For some, hands together at heart, pressing the knees open. And for some of you that are really open, you can make fist, press the fist in towards each other, opening the knees even deeper. So we all have different ways that our bones sit in our joints. So whichever bus stop you need, take it. And let's take the hands down, come onto the toes, the tiptoes, and just move from side to side. One knee will drop in towards center, keep the chest lifted, spine long. And we're just getting into that internal rotation and external rotation of the femur and the hip joint. So if we've got any kind of pain in the waistline, the belt line, it's important to kind of move in a circle. What's happening in that space? So looking at the abduction, the adduction in the groin, in the hips, and creating spaciousness for the lower back and strength for the erector spinae, so the muscles that surround the lower back muscles or the lower spine. So come back through center. Right hand stays planted to the outside of the right foot. Left arm stretches up and open. So we're opening through the chest. Lower the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Right arm stretches up. Right hand down. Bring the hips up higher. Feet are still nice and wide. And fold in. So we're not fully into the prasarita, that wide forward fold, but wider than our yogi squat. Take opposite elbows, round in, and again lengthening through the back line. And sometimes the most extraordinary thing that we could do for pain that we might have is to just do nothing, to sit very ordinarily in one posture and allow time and patience and gravity to do the work. Hands to the earth. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, slowly round all the way up. Let the shoulders shrug at the top, back. And let the shoulders shrug forward. Very good. And step the feet in closer together. You're going to bend the right knee towards the chest. Pull the right knee in. Lift the chest. And then bring the right hand back behind you. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. You can stay here or you can straighten the right foot forward. Left hand to the outside of the right foot. So again, creating some spaciousness in the side body. Inhale, come forward, lift both arms. Keep the right leg lifted for 3, 2, and 1. Set it down, very good. Inhale, left knee into the chest, hands to the left knee, pull in. Keep the chest lifted, spine long. Right hand to the outside of the left knee, left arm back, twisting open. If you want to lengthen the left foot forward, you can. So working with our stabilizers in the balance here, lengthening through the sides. Inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen the left leg forward, and creating some strength here in the hips as well, in the flexors. So I gotta take some time, take an inhale, and exhale, slowly fold forward. And again, working with the system as a whole. Let's take an inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to a plank position. So top of a push-up, keep the belly pulling in, slight rounding of the upper back. Engaging through the core. So core is generally in yoga practices not the most favorable set of postures to do, but it is the centrifuge of the practice. So anytime you can add this in, it helps to create strength in the erector spinae, so the muscles surrounding the spine. And just more general health for the organs. Take an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Very good. Come down onto the forearms. Set the forearms down. Keep the hips up nice and high. And you might want to walk the feet in just a little bit here. Creating some strength in the shoulders. Let's set the knees down wide, sit back on the heels, stretch the arms forward. Child's pose. So massaging the forehead from side to side. lengthen the spine out just a little bit. And let's stretch the right arm underneath the left arm, but we're going to keep the right shoulder moving down towards the ground and the forehead. We're not twisting underneath the body. We're staying square here. So we're getting into the deltoids, into the upper right arm. And so even though we might have specific pain or wanting to work with a specific part of the body, like the lower back, we are working with all planes, even in this short practice, to create spaciousness in any areas that might be compensating in the body. So generally, if we have pain somewhere, it's not actually there that the chain of events begins. Somewhere in the body where there's compensation pulling towards the center. Let's peel the chest up, stretch the right arm forward, left arm underneath the right. Come down to the forehead. Slowly lift the chest. Come back to sitting onto the heels. Bring the hips over towards the right and stretch the legs forward. Take a hold of the shins and we're going to round down onto the back. So massaging the lower spine, rock from side to side. Let the head relax, the shoulders relax. Set the feet down, hip width distance apart, and let your knees fall to the right. Goalpost the arms out. Look towards the left. So passive stretch for the adductors, the front line of the body, but also alleviating in the back line, creating some spaciousness for those muscles that twist and turn around the lower lumbar. Let's come back through center. Knees drop to the left, head drops to the right. Let's come back to the center. Knees up, take the inside or the outside of the feet. Coming into happy baby or bliss baby, Ananda Balasana. And let the lower back really sink down on the ground. The neck, the shoulders, the head relaxed. Rocking from side to side. Any sighs, flutters, anything that needs to be released from the mouth. Really just allowing some soothing to the lower back, letting the solidity of the earth hold you. So it's kind of like getting a hug from Pachamama, from Mother Earth. And let's bring the feet together. Take a hold of the shins as you slowly let the feet fall to the ground in a controlled way, knees open. Hands resting on the groin space, so in the hip flexors and those creases right by the hips. You can have the hands on the belly or one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, whatever feels nourishing for you. And for some, it feels nice to have the arms up overhead, taking opposite elbows. So our last posture here. So feel free to stay as long as you like. This is the beauty of online practices. You can pause the video, stay for as long as you like. We'll be here for another 5 rounds of breath or so, but do your best in the end of practice to really empty the mind. Come into the breath presence, even if it's just for 5 rounds of breath, to promise yourself, in this moment, I choose this. So let us take 5 rounds of breath in the silent witness space, hearing sounds near and far, attaching to none, and simply being. So I leave you here in this practice to stay as long as you need. Feel free to subscribe and come each week for new practices with myself and with other guest teachers. You can find me in all of the links below to connect for one-on-one sessions, retreats, trainings, our emails, conversations, reflections, and may you find a bit more ease in your body today and moving forward. Namaste.